that doesn't work. Oh, sorry, I didn't start recording. This is recorded now. So anyways, also going around the rest of the board members. Anna, I think, is in the back taking Christmas ticket money. Anybody needs their Christmas tickets, we'll go over that in a minute. The dean is sitting next to Anna. Frank and Frank are in the back of the room. I see Frank and Frank. James, I believe, is somewhere. James over on this side. Ed is over here. And then Bob and Bob. It's like Bob, James, or Fred, or Frank and Frank. I mean, everybody's, yeah, the entire board's here tonight. It's amazing when you go back to the old home when everybody starts coming back together. All right. Any guest, anybody that's not a member of the club, or maybe you just joined tonight, first time being here, you just raise your hand. All right. I'm just going to say real quick, welcome. I would normally say we'll introduce you guys, but this is the only microphone. Actually, both microphones used now. All right, hold on a second. Earlier, only one microphone was being able to use. All right, let me come around to everybody. Just raise your hand and introduce yourself. If you got a call sign already, say your call sign. And
thank you. Is it on? Okay.
Push all the way up. You might have to hold it kind of close.
There we go.
There you go.
All right, my name is Ben. My call sign is KQ4JYM. I actually joined last month, but I wasn't here for the meeting because I passed my general there. But now I'm an extra, so.
Good job. Welcome.
So.
All right.
He raised it for me.
Oh. Sorry. I'm Ramon. I don't have a call sign yet, but hopefully I'm going to have it soon.
Excellent.
I need an Elmer.
We have a room full of Elmers here, so please, anybody's willing to help, be great.
Hi, my name is Mauricio, call sign W3SKY, and I just passed my extra. So,
Congratulations.
Hello, my name is Javier. My call sign is K1MCO, and I just passed my general.
Congratulations. Anybody else? Nope.
Carlos Rubio, raise your hand.
One more up front. Okay. The Michael just counted how many people signed in. 70 are here this evening. We were barely getting to 50 at the fairgrounds, so I think we made a difference. We had up to 90 at times before the pandemic hit in this room. So it's good to have everybody start coming back. All right, Christmas dinner. It is going to be on December the 2nd. It's Saturday, December the 2nd. Okay, as always, we will not have a meeting as in December. We do have our Christmas party or Christmas dinner. It's the same location at the Knights of Columbus, 5727 Cornelia Avenue. It's in the newsletter. Tickets are on sale in the back. Most of you guys have probably already picked up your tickets, but for members and spouses, they're $10 a piece. Non-members are $25 a piece. All right. They'll be available tonight, next month, and in November meetings. Tickets are not available for sale at the door on the night of the Christmas party. Because we use this as a way to get a head count to know how many people are going to be there, because the last thing we want is not to have enough food to feed everybody to come into the Christmas party. That doesn't go well, okay? I do ask, one of the things that we're well known for is the dessert tables, okay? Anna could use a little help with the dessert tables. If you are able to bring something, something that maybe you make at home or something that you can bring that's even store-bought, coordinate that with Anna to make sure that we have a good spread of desserts available. Her email address is fairly easy. Just you can send it to her first initial A, last name GROE at OARC.org. It'd be great. If you can't remember that, send it to me. I'll make sure I forward it to her. And just coordinate that with her so we can make sure we have a good spread of desserts available at the Christmas party. We've been growing again at the Christmas party. Last year we had close to 100, maybe around 100 people at the Christmas party. So it takes a small little army of dessert makers to help make sure everybody goes away nice and full and has their sweet tooth satisfied for the evening. We also do our annual awards that evening, where we recognize different individuals in the club, Hamcation committee members or Hamcation volunteers. And so plan on that happening. And we'll be doing a Toys for Tots toy drive again. So please bring a small unwrapped toy for Toys for Tots. We'll have boxes there for them to do the collection again. So we usually have a good time on Christmas, the first Saturday of the month. It's usually kind of our crown jewel of the year, and we look forward to seeing everybody there. With the crowd that's here tonight, I anticipate having a record crowd at Christmas dinner this year. So get your tickets early. Hopefully we print enough tickets for everybody. All right. ARL membership. There's a lot of controversy going on about the membership dues going up. I don't really want to go into that because everybody has opinion on it. I respect everybody's opinion. I just think about it this way. If you haven't been to the grocery store lately, if you haven't bought fuel lately, if you haven't bought anything lately, then you probably don't realize prices are going up everywhere. Okay. Anticipate that happening even with other things in amateur radio world. I mean, even prices of radios are going up. But what I want to mention was that between now and the end of the year is a good time to renew that membership before the price goes up. And you can do that through the club. See Rick in the back. We have membership forms for ARL in the back. And you can pay that $49 and it goes to ARL. What we do is we collect the money. Anna takes the membership forms and she mails a check to the ARL for everybody that's renewing or joining for the first time. And that's mailed out to the ARL. As soon as they get it and process your application, they'll contact you with your membership number and access to the website and membership card and all that type of stuff. But just, think about it for a second. We need advocacy for amateur radio and the government, making sure we don't lose more frequencies and stuff. $49 or $59 is not that much money compared to some of the other national organizations out there. All right. OARC apparel. For a couple months, our apparel link on the website has been down. I put an email out about it when it first went down, and that was because of Gold Medal Ideas was changing their store platform that they use that we purchase our shirts through. It is back up and running. If you go to Club Tech and then get OARC apparel, takes you right to the store. Shirts are available, all different sizes, colors. There's button-up polos, button-up shirts, long sleeve shirts, short sleeve shirts, T-shirts, polos, jackets, you name it on there. You pay on the website to Gold Medal Ideas. You can order as little as one shirt or as many other shirts you want. And when you do that, they will ship you the shirt directly to you. It doesn't come through the club. It saves us from having to purchase a whole bunch of shirts and have a whole bunch of sizes. Either we buy too many of one size or not enough another or something. It always works out this way. You as a member can order it anytime you need a new shirt. Okay. I'm saying this now, and I'm glad this is back up because with Hamcation coming around the corner, and I'm hoping that all of you will attend Hamcation, represent the club by having a shirt on during Hamcation. It'd be great. Okay. OARC has been a sponsor for Orlando Hamcation since the start for 77 years. Support the club, support Hamcation, show your support through wearing a shirt at Hamcation. It'd be great. Okay. And there's all different types of shirts in there, guys. Different colors, light colors, dark colors, all that type of stuff. All right, Michael, did you have any updates for Hamcation?
All right, real quick, everybody hear me okay? Okay, I just want to make sure before I walked away from the mixer so I could change it. Only reason why I need this is for Zoom. If not, I could talk loud enough. Hamcation coming up in February. The website is live. We are looking for lots of volunteers. So please go to the website and volunteer. If you work 4 hours, you get a free ticket. If you work 8 hours, thereabouts, don't have to be exactly 8 hours. We do feed you also. And it's a good way for other organizations to earn a donation. We keep track of your hours that you do work, and we do make a donation at the end of Hamcation toward those other organizations. The cheapest check we send out is $20, up to several $1,000s for some of the clubs, depending on how many people actually work and donate those hours toward that club. So it could be a good way for your organization to earn some extra money. You do not have to be an amateur radio operator to volunteer. You can send them to the website. All the information is up there about the different positions we are looking for. Also, if you don't want to volunteer and you just want to buy a ticket, we do have tickets on sale in the back of the room also. Those are $20. And it'd be that until December 1st, which it will go up to $25. So please go back there and do that. Also, I am looking for several more assistant chairmen for our committee. There are several positions open that I do need some assistant chairs for. Transportation, which is in charge of golf carts, I need an assistant chair for. Awards, I need an assistant chair for. Tailgate, I need an assistant chair. Security, I still need one more assistant chair. There's a couple other positions also. Talk-in, I need an assistant chair for that also. So please see me if you want to volunteer. If you want to go a little bit above just volunteering during Hamcation, please see me. Plus these hours for committee meetings, stuff you do like that goes toward your hours worked also. And you donate those toward an organization will bump up a lot of hours. Their donation also. So I'll be here all night. So see me if you have any questions.
And just to add to some of the things that Michael talked about, Hamcation, swaps is doing very well already for Hamcation, indoor swaps, indoor flea market, if you will. RV knocking out of the ballpark already this year. Tailgate's always going to be a little slower because being outside, people look at the weather, what do they have they want to sell, that type of stuff. But that usually comes in starting in December, it really ramps up. So looking, and ticket sales have been pretty good so far. I would say really good. Mike?
Hey, John, while we're talking about Hamcation, I'm Mike Bannigan, KJ4UDO. I'm the awards chairman. We have nominations open for 2 awards that we present at Hamcation. We've got the Carol Perry Educator of the Year Award, and then the Gordon West Ambassador of the Year Award. So nominations are open. They're up at the website and get it. Any questions? We got one recipient here. Ken received the Carol Perry Educator of the Year last year at Hamcation. So we're still looking for, please submit nominations so we can turn around, we'll make our selection right around the beginning of December. And then the awards will be presented at Hamcation. Thank you.
And just to add to that, you don't have to be local, or you don't have to know somebody local. You can know somebody that lives in the other part of the United States or even internationally. We already have had an international Carol Perry of the Year Award winner a couple years ago. So it's just not to, local hams. It's open to all hams. Okay. So keep that in mind. You might have somebody that you might want to recognize that lives in another part of the country. That's fine. We can still do that. But we can't do that if you don't nominate them. Okay. That's the only way we can do it. Before I go further, Joe, where you at? Come on up. Joe took on the task, something we've been trying to start for a couple months, earlier this year also, hams in the park, okay? Or as I was saying at one time, Saturday mornings in the park for amateur radio operators. He's done that now 2 months. Here's his report.
Name is Joe, KQ4AID. And first of all, I'd like to thank everyone that has come out to one of the events. Our next event will be September the 23rd at Central Winds Park. That is the same park that we do field day at, and we're going to be in the, not the main pavilion where we ate lunch at and dinner, but at the other side pavilion. There'll be emails going out about it as a reminder. But come join us. We'll be there at 8 in the morning, leave around 1 o'clock, can stay later if you want. It's a good time to practice, good time to learn different things, and hope to see you there.
All right, appreciate it very much, Joe. And thank you for taking that task on. All right, let me go around. Anybody else have any really quick updates, not club related, but maybe a little project you're working on that I might have missed? Because I'm going to go around to the clubs and all that stuff in just a second. Otherwise, all right, going to board members. Michael, do you have anything? Anna. Anna says we sold 61 tickets before she even got here this morning or this evening. So that's pretty good. Everybody's eager to get back here. I can tell you that. Bobbin. Bob C. Oh, test session. I'm sorry. I did skip over that. My bad. Hold on a second. Microphone.
Is it live? Yeah, it is. Okay. We did have 5 candidates tonight. 4 were successful, 1 new technician, 1 new general, and 2 new extras. And 1 person did take the extra twice, but missed the last test by 1. So he'll be back next month for sure.
Was he having chest pains when he left here? I would have. I probably would have also had a mental issue. Mad. All right. Let me go to Ed. Good. James. Make sure I get everybody. I don't want to miss anybody. Dean. Frank and Frank. Okay. One other thing real quick, something that Frank and Frank does. We started something probably over a year ago now, maybe even longer than that. Silent Key committee. Frank and Frank head up the Silent Key committee. What? 4 years ago? All right, time flies when you're having fun. 4 years ago, we started up a Silent Key committee. We were starting to get a lot of requests in from individuals who ham radio loved one passed away, and trying to figure out what to do with equipment and stuff like that. So what we created was a sticker that you could put on one or all your radios. Doesn't matter what you do with it. Okay. We have multiple stickers back there that you can put on one of your radios, and so that way, and you can show it to your spouse or significant others or whatever, who you can contact to help dispose of equipment, because most of the time spouses are not involved in amateur radio. They have no clue what to do with it. Okay. So we started this to help members of the club. All right. So if you want to get stickers, they're back there by the Rick and Frank in the back of the room. That doesn't cost you anything. Grab some stickers. I know they have some here. We have more available. Try to grab a few tonight. You need some more next month. We'll have more available and stuff like that. But just keep that in mind. It has our ooh, I just realized it has a old PO box on it. Yeah. But the website addresses the email address is still good. We did switch a PO box earlier this year, but the email address is still good, so they can contact us and we can help them. The guys will do what they can to help dispose of any equipment and stuff. And they'll go over all that with you guys to discuss it and stuff. So just keep that in mind. All right, let me go to the clubs real quick. Starting with QCWA and Lamar's afterwards.
I'm Rich, WR4RW. I'm representing QCWA. I'm the president of the local chapter. Move over. This is my mug shot. Get my mug shot here. All right. So short and sweet, QCWA has a meeting a week from tomorrow. So it's Thursdays. It's the second Thursday of the month. And it's at 1 o'clock. We meet at Perkins Restaurant, which is about a block from HRO. It's the one in Winter Springs. And we have a great time, and everybody's welcome. Even though you might not have been ham 25 years, which is the QCWA thing, everybody's welcome and invited. So it's a luncheon and we have a program and that's about it. It's just fellowship. And we have a net on Tuesday nights. It's also everybody is welcome. It follows the Seminole VHF traffic net. If you're in Seminole County, you might be checking into that, but it's at 7:30 on Tuesday night. 147.195 is the repeater, and our repeater's up on a 200-foot tower. So you'll be able to hit it if you're in Florida, at least in Central Florida. And that's because Ken put our antenna up on this 200-foot tower, and we love that. Anyway, strong legs. Yeah, he was up there 5 hours. And anyway, can you imagine that? So everybody's invited, and we'd love to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Lamar's.
Excuse my voice. I've had a little chest thing. Is this on? Yeah. Okay, good. My name is Jim Robar.
A little closer.
Jim
There you go.
Robar. All good. Everybody's smiling. Wait, man, they're smiling in the back. Okay. My call is KB2 Charlie Uniform X-Ray. I'm vice president of Lamar's, also involved here, of course, for folks that don't know me. And tomorrow night is our auction. Every year we have a big auction at Lamar's. We are at 400 North Edgemont Road in Winter Springs. It's parallel on the east side of 1792 if you're looking for it. And I would imagine we're going to have boat anchors. I know we got some new rigs, HTs, things like that coming in. So there'll be a variety of equipment to bid on. Most of it will probably be a silent auction unless there's an auctioneer in here that would talk to me later. We don't have one, and you don't want to hear me up there. So, okay, that's it. Very good.
All right, Mike, sir.
See the screen?
There you go.
Mike Bivens, KG4BDO. I represent the amateur radio unit of Orlando CERT. We basically, any amateurs who live in the city of Orlando, we invite you to participate on the 14676 repeater on Wednesday, 7 o'clock. So that happened like 10 minutes before I drove in here. And whenever there's we're kind of like call ourselves the eyes and ears for the city of Orlando when a catastrophic event, hurricane event comes through. We didn't get activated this time because fortunately it steered away from us. So, but the season is still young. So invite you to radio in if you run into anything, see any issues that Orlando's Emergency Operations Center may be interested in, but not a 911 issue. Radio it in so we can send it to the powers that be at the EOC and they can allocate the appropriate resources. So look forward to hearing from you on the net. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Clark Luna, do you have anything? Nope. All right, CFRA. And that after that, Mr. Bob, and you can start getting things ready. See, just imagine there's a little star on the floor right there that you have to stand.
Right here. Good evening, everybody. I'm Bob W4KBW, president of the Central Florida Repeater Association. Small group, maybe 20 members. We meet always the last Wednesday of the month, sometimes just 5, at the Perkins, not by HRO, Perkins on University in Forsyth and Winter Park. Get there around 6 o'clock, have a little dinner. 7 o'clock, we'll have maybe a 5-minute meeting tops. Dues are $12 per year. If you're husband and wife and you're both hams, it's $18 for the both. Repeater is downtown Orlando, Colonial and I-4. It's 443075, standard 105.3 PL. It's dual mode, it's analog and fusion. So if you'd like to come by, come on by.
All right, thank you. Radio scouting. Ken's already up here. He knew his place in line. He's done this once or twice.
That's so I don't get skipped. All right. So my name is Ken, KN4MDJ. This is my busy time. In the next 60 days, I will see 9,000 kids about radio. So starting this weekend, I will be in Tampa with Thunderbirds HF and radio demonstration. September 23rd, we'll be up in Paisley doing a search and rescue demonstration. We'll have our climbing equipment out, which I normally use. We're gonna have some FLIR, which is the infrared videos from the helicopters. The Wilderness Radio Protocol. Does anybody in here know what the Wilderness Radio Protocol is? If you're out in the woods, you're supposed to check your radio every hour on the hour. If you're on a non-ham radio, it's channel 3. So whether it be channel 3 on CB or channel 3 on FRS, and your time is from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So a lot of people don't realize that. October 7th, that is our standard JOTA. So we'll be doing Sink the Kraken, which is a battleship game using CB radios and a lot of other things. We need as many helpers as we can get. So in October, I'll be seeing 2,000 kids every single Saturday. So the more helpers we have, the more radios we have, it makes it a lot easier to get more on there. Because right now we get 1 kid on the radio and 10 of them behind them watching. So the more kids we have, the better it is. And of course, and Hamcation will be coming up, and we're going to have 20 kids. We've already started to take reservations. Some scouts from Miami will be coming up to do the radio merit badge at Hamcation. They're already getting their slots filled up now. That's it. So if you need me, you can reach me at kn4mikedeltajuliet.com.
And it goes without saying that Ken needs help with especially JOTA, but all these different weekends. He has a lot of kids that he's gonna be seeing. One person alone, or even a small army of people, cannot, the 9,000 kids is a lot of kids, guys. So if you can donate a few hours over a weekend or something to help them out, it'd be greatly appreciated, I'm sure. So mark your calendars, get in touch with Ken. Ken has done a phenomenal effort of getting youth and amateur radio together again through scouting and stuff. So please support him all you can. All right. Yeah, he's not lying. Where was I? I'm sorry. But hey, our Shriners. Be easier to say Shriners.
Hi, I'm Rod, W4UK, and it's nice to be home again. We have our tailgate the first Saturday of November, and hopefully next month we're going to have some flyers for you all here. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's over with by noon. It's an old-fashioned tailgate. Come join us. It's $5 donation to come in, and what is it? $7 if you're selling out of your car, if you're selling. Anyway, we have a good fun. You folks have supported us very well in the last few years. We're at our new Shrine Center in Apopka. The details will be on our flyer next week. So come join us in November. Mark your calendar. Thank you.
Looking forward to it. All right. Week signal. Quarter week signal. After week signal would be anybody that represents AMSAT, Deers, or Lara, Lake Amateur.
Hello, everyone. Oh, yes, working. Good to be back. I'm not going to report all the frequencies of all the beacons. Anyone here interested in getting on and checking your receivers or whatever, just get with me. I'll tell you what some of the frequencies are. Our September meeting has been canceled. The next meeting will be at Hammocation. And wanted to mention there is a new aspect to microwaves. It's catching on. It is called shortwave. And it is monitoring some of the motherships that are circling the moon and Mars. And those frequencies are usually posted, and some people are taking the time to build some equipment and getting the thrill of picking up the beacons off of some of those, there's satellites around those, the moon and the planets. So if you want to do some serious DX, like the moon, 500,000 miles, you can do it with a 2 to 4, 5, 6 foot dish and a little bit of expertise and a good low noise receiver. So you can get some notoriety. There's some places on the internet now that you can post if you do these extreme DX on some of these microwaves. And I might mention they are in about the 6 to 8 gig region. So if you're going to be looking for some surplus, it's in that range.
All right, sounds good. All right, anybody from AMSAT, Deers, Lara, similarities? After similarities, Osceola, and we'll wrap it up with Orange, which will probably be me.
There's the star here.
Yep, right up front.
All right.
Smile for the camera.
Hi, I'm Frank Tagliani, KD4EZW. I'm the president of Seminole County Aries and shortly working towards emergency coordinator for the county group. And we meet on the third Thursday of the month at 7:30 PM at the police center at the EOC at 100 Esslinger Way. We're doing a lot of technical training and ICS training now, getting everybody up to speed. Our next meeting in September is going to be on deployment. So if you have any questions on what to bring during a deployment, you know, what you need to have with you, where to go, it's going to be a good meeting to attend. The previous meetings, we did a primer on antennas and repeaters. We handed out some antenna information that people can go and make their own homemade antennas to bring with them with stuff from around the house. So it's a good time to come and learn some stuff. So if anybody wants to show up, if you're near Seminole County, the third Thursday of the month. Thanks.
All right. Osceola, Jeremy, do you have anything or good? Normal meeting? Okay. And then Orange County area is going to be me. Our meeting is going to be next Thursday, week from tomorrow, at the Orange County Emergency Operations Center in the media room. I'm happy to report that it looks like the Emergency Operations Center renovations should be completed sometime next month is what we're being told. Hopefully shortly after that, we'll be able to get back into the big room and be able to have our meetings in it. In the meantime, we're still meeting in the media room at 7 o'clock. If you want information about Orange County areas or location or the meeting is, please just let me know. As all areas organizations are looking for volunteers, Orange County areas is no different. It takes an army of volunteers to sit there and help the community during emergency communications. Osceola County area is the same way. Seminole County area is the same way. If you are not an Aries member, please highly consider it. But anyways, we'll wrap that up. Before we go to break, first I want to just sit there and say our presenter is already waiting for us. Anthony Lusky has been with us before. Kilo Elf, excuse me. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. Kilo 8 Z Tango. And he's done presentations before, well received. He comes back tonight to do a presentation called How to Make That QSO. And Ed will give out all the details here when we come back from break. Before you go to break, and record number here tonight, guys, 70 people. There's a couple things. First, please make sure you've signed in at the books up front here. So we have a record of who was all in attendance tonight. Make sure that you've gotten a blue ticket for raffle or for door prizes. The Coke Zero bottle is not up for door prize options. But we have a hotspot that Steve right over here built himself that he donated to give out to for donation for door prize tonight. His contact information is with it. He'll more than happy to tell you all about it and stuff if whoever wins it. I know he mentioned he had a couple more available if anybody wanted to buy one. I think he said they're $40. So, you know, consider that. And we appreciate the donation, and whoever wins it, I'm sure is going to have a good time with it. Michael has also donated 2 tickets to some little event called Hamcation. And that's a $40 value right there. Plus we will give out 2 HRO gift certificates tonight. Of course, whoever wins it will get your contact information. We'll purchase the gift certificates online tonight. You'll get an email tomorrow morning when you wake up, and be in your email box with your certificate, and you can go spend it as early as tomorrow if you like at HRO. So don't miss out by not getting a blue ticket. With that, we are going to come back here in 10 minutes at 8:20 local time with our presentation. So please grab your donuts, your coffee, and let's get ready to rock and roll. All right, hello. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. All right, everybody, this is your warning. Warning before we start back up again.
Close the microphone. Through this camera. Just John talking. Or if I do this, now he'll see everybody. See the camera there moving.
We have your attention. We'd like to have everybody go back to their seats. Feel like I'm the teacher. If we can please make it back towards your seats, we get started. I know everybody's happy to be here. Rick. The lady would like to sit down, Rick. Please move. Oh. Now you did it. Watch their cables all. Don't make Anthony dizzy. All right, we're getting started. Please make it back to your seats. Give me a second. I feel like I'm being spotlighted. Man, now I know what it's like to be on TV with cameras and spotlights. I almost have more respect for the people in media. What? No, it's fine. He just, so I'm not blinded. All right, are we ready? Let's get started.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Anthony Luscre, Kilo 8 Zulu Tango, and tonight's presentation.
Got it. Great. Well, for those of you who might have been here in April, you met Anthony at that time, but for those of you who haven't heard him talk, he was first licensed in 1981 as KA8 NRC, and he's been a QRP operator from his very first QSO. No one told him novices should not start with a 2-watt QRP rig. He changed his call sign to K8ZT in June of 2000 after upgrading to extra class. Anthony, as I said, was our guest speaker in April. And I'm welcoming him back again. Glad to see you. He's active in a variety of amateur radio activities, but his favorite activity is operating. His QRP contacts number more than 108,000. His QRP DXCC total recently topped the 328 mark. And he's completed 11 band, worked all states. So he probably knows how to operate. He's here tonight to talk to us about how to make that contact. Anthony, thanks again, and it's your show.
Well, thank you very much. I'm Anthony, Kilo 8 Zulu Tango, and tonight's topic, how to make that QSO. Get in the rhythm, know the rhyme, and dance the dance. This is my contact information, k8zt@awl.net, and my website at k8zt.com. You will want the slides, and I'll make sure I put those in the chat so that you guys can make them available to the club members. And it's tiny.cc/r-r-d for rhythm, rhyme, and dance. So let's jump in. Getting in the rhythm is all about timing and frequency choice. Knowing the rhyme is understanding contest or signal report exchange or the flow of a given QSO. Dancing the dance is learning how to listen and mimic successful stations. So let's start off in the rhythm. The first thing you need to know is where the station is listening. Even though they might be calling one frequency, they may be working there, listening there, but they might also be operating split, up or down a certain range of frequencies. Or maybe they're just slightly off of 0 beat. So maybe they're just slightly above or below, and they're not saying they're split, but you need to know where they're listening as opposed to where they are transmitting. You want to match the speed of their QSO, whether it's CW or phone. You want to pay close attention to which stations the operator is answering. And there's a couple things on this. That'll give you an idea of what frequency they're answering stations on. It'll also give you an idea of their operating style. Are they answering first callers, late callers, double callers, tail enders, etc.? So find out what the person is responding to and then mimic that and get in the rhythm. If operating CW, a smooth sending rhythm can be very helpful to attract contacts. Consistency in sending, speed, spacing, and weighting are keys for a good CW signal, but they're also important for phone contacts. Getting in the rhythm in all modes is like merging onto a highway. We need to figure out the right speed and the right time to enter the highway. And that's really what it takes to break through a big DX power-up, is getting that speed and timing down. The rhyme portion is one good place to be very successful at making contacts is get on during contest. Even if you're not interested in the competitive nature of the contest, it just means that there's a lot of stations that want to work you because they get points for it. And the only thing you need to do is be able to give them the proper exchange. You don't even need to write down their exchange. You don't need to enter the contest. You just need to know what exchange they need so you can hold up your end of the bargain. They give you a QSO, you give them a point with an exchange. Also with the exchange, you need to know the order and format stations are expecting you to send the exchange. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. If you're on phone, I suggest you use standard phonetics, or what I'm going to refer to as the best effective phonetic. And the reason for this is I'll give you an example. There was an FY5 on down in South America, and there was a station in California trying to work him who obviously was running quite a bit of power. I could hear him very strong here. It took him almost 2 minutes to make a simple 599 contest type of exchange. The problem was the station in California, although he was loud, was using non-standard phonetics, and he was confusing the station in French Guiana. When it was my turn with my 5 watts, I gave him proper phonetics. He immediately came back to me, and we were done in a matter of seconds. In voice contacts, if you have a 0 in your call, I'd suggest you say 0 as opposed to O, because that can be very confusing. Now, here's the phonetics you want to avoid, things like R, B, sight. There's a number of phonetics out there that are really problematic, but there's also some phonetics that I hear a lot of people use that can be problematic. For example, Some people use country names. Then they'll say the word Spain. Well, anyone who is familiar with Spain knows that that's not what they call themselves. It's España. So when you're saying Spain, are you meaning an E or an S? So stick with the standard phonetics, avoid the funny phonetics, and you will have much more success. Also, it's helpful if you know a few keywords. The first keyword you need to know is about a dozen or so Q symbols that are used very frequently. And I have a link here. Anytime you see the symbol, that means if you click on it, it'll take you out for more information. And there's a bunch of Q signals right here. Really, this is about all you need. There's some of these you don't even need, but you need to know some basic Q symbols. So that's the first piece of information you need to know. You also need to know some abbreviations. And on this same site, there's some CW abbreviations. They're actually much more standardized than the abbreviations we use for texting every day. There's another link with some additional abbreviations. It's also helpful if you know some information in other languages. You don't absolutely have to. You can get by with just English for the most part, but if you know some extra things in another language, even very simple things like your number in your call sign, you can use standard NATO phonetics, but drop the number in the form of another language. So I have a link here that has numbers in 13 different languages. You can put this little chart out and have it handy by your station. There's also something called the Radio Amateurs Conversation Guide put out by two Finnish hams. It's no longer available, so they gave me permission to publish it in PDF format. So the whole thing is here, and there's a key right here to each of the languages, and you can see that they give you numbers. And then they give you simple things like QRZ and other things in different languages. So you can take a look at that. You can print it out if you'd like. Also, when you're using phone, try and avoid filler words in DXing or contesting. Things like please copy, my call sign is, your report is. Those are all very evident when you give the report. You don't need to preface it with this is your report. The one exception to that occasionally you'll see is when they're giving a digit. They might give a number. They might say number in front of the number if it's different than some of the other things that are being given. Also with DX stations, it's very important to avoid slang, idioms, and other items that may cause confusion. Those things are only good if you're a native speaker of the language for the most part. So something we think that we use all the time might not be that intelligible to someone who uses English as a second or third language. Know your exchange. Find the exchange for a contest and know what's expected from you. The best place to do that is the WA7BNM contest site. You can go there. You can look up any contest any different week. When you go to the contest, you'll see what the exchange is. So if we go to the Worked All Europe DX contest, we'll see that anyone's allowed to work. That means you can too. And the mode is single sideband, and the exchange is your RS, in other words, 59, because at a contest, you're always 59, and your serial number. So you need to count up 1, 2, 3 as you do each of your contacts. So you can find out what this information is by going to the contest calendar. Also, make sure you know your grid square, and I have a link here to help you find your grid square. If you don't know it, find out what your grid square is. If you're going to be operating portable, either find out ahead of time or get an app to use on your phone that'll tell you what grid square you're in. If you're a Parks on the Air person, please, please, please don't just know what park you're in, know what county you're in and what grid square you're in, especially if there happens to be a state QSO party going on in the state you're operating in. People are going to want to know your county. So please find that information out. Also, it's a good idea to know your CQ zone, your ITU zone, ARRL section, etc. You guys have one of those tricky states with multiple sections. Here in Ohio, it's very simple. We only have one ARRL section. So I'm assuming everyone in Ohio knows what their section is. But in Florida, it's a little more complicated. I have a whole presentation on amateur radio maps and charts. I just did it, as a matter of fact, a couple hours ago for a group in England. I'm actually doing 4 presentations back to back tonight through the luxury of different time zones. I mentioned the acceptable order of the elements of exchange. This is sometimes by tradition, sometimes for clarity. It's the way we always do it, and these are some of the reasons. So you want to do the order that they're expecting. And I'll show you an example of this in a second. There's probably no better example than probably one of the longest exchanges out there. And that's the exchange used for the AWRL sweepstakes in November, both phone and CW. Here we have a CW operator, and Tom here gives his report 2315, which is the serial numbers. They must be a multi-station. They're working many people. Their designator, his call sign. Yes, you do need to give the call sign in this particular exchange. Most of the time, you don't need to repeat it in your exchange. The year that he was first licensed and his section, Western Pennsylvania. And Mary down here gives him a quick Roger, Roger, thank you, and she's off to the next contact. Well, here, Tom sends the same exact information, but he sends it in a different order. And guess what? Mary's listening for first. She's listening for a number because she's expecting her serial number first. So when she hears a W, she gets very confused. And from there, it's all downhill. So she has to go again. And if he sends it this way again, she's still going to have to figure it out. So figure out the way that everyone sends the exchange for that particular contest and follow the example. This would be example also on field day. If you would give the exchange in a different order, it's going to confuse people. So instead of saying 5A, if you say A5, it's going to be very confusing to people. So something as simple as that can make or break a contact. So the next thing you need to know is, are you successful? Has the other station gotten the exchange? Are you done? Are you ready to move on? And we have three choices: yes, maybe, or no. So let's take a look at each of these. Yes. How do you know they got the exchange? On CW, they might send you a quick TU for thank you. On phone, they may say thank you. They might send on CW an R or an RR, or on phone, they might say Roger or Roger, Roger. QSL on either phone or CW. 73 on either phone or CW. Okay, yes, or other affirmative on phone would work out also. Or they may simply start calling CQ or QRZ again. This is problematic, and I wish operators wouldn't do this, but some operators won't acknowledge. You just have to assume if everything was going smooth that they got you and they didn't ask for a repeat. But it's always nice when you hear one of these things, because you then immediately know that they got you and you're ready to move on. Now, maybe becomes problematic. If the station repeats back your exchange with a question mark, or they do it in a questioning form on phone, that means they want it confirmed. So if they gave you the information correctly, a quick confirm a CFM or Roger, Roger on CW, or a confirm Roger or QSL on phone will do it. Don't repeat it back to them again if they gave it right to you. Simply confirm that they got it right. If it was wrong, said no, negative, or say negative, and then repeat the correct exchange until they get it right. One of the worst things you can do is send the thing back to them if it was correct, because then it's going to get confusing. Now, no, they didn't get it. If the station was not successful, they might send one of the following: a question mark or a couple question marks on CW, and that means you need to repeat everything. Or they might ask for a specific part of the exchange. Call with a question mark means they don't have your call sign. Or again, repeat means that you need to repeat everything. Number, if they didn't get the serial number or the number in your exchange. EXC for the whole exchange, SEC for section, CNTY for county, state, QR, CQ, etc. If you only are missing part of the exchange, just ask for the part you're missing. And if they only ask for part of it, give just that part. If they say before or dupe, they think they've worked you before. Take a quick look at your log. You are using a computer log, I hope, so you can tell real quickly in a contest. And if they haven't, say, no, you haven't, and make sure they work you again. If they do say before dupe, don't worry, they already got you in the log. So here's a quick little chart you can print out, basically knowing whether they did not get you or whether they got you. Now, what do you do if the station has not successfully received your exchange, especially at the couple tries? If the station is having trouble with your call sign, consider sending it twice with some space in between it on CW or phone. That gives them multiple times to get it with less chance of interference causing a problem. If you give your call just once, the chances of interference covering it up are much greater. But don't get carried away with endless repeating, especially when the band conditions are good. There's no reason to always give your call sign twice, only if other stations are having a problem getting you. If you're doing phone and they can't seem to get your call right, or they don't get the exchange right, you need to then think about some alternative phonetics. Have a set of alternative phonetics that you know for your call sign that are not confusing and that everyone would understand. So quite often I will have people come back to me and they will say, The zero station go again because they heard my Zulu and confused it for zero. So if I do Zulu again, it's going to continue to confuse them. So I might change my call to Kilo 8 Zanzibar Tango. So having an alternative set of phonetics can be very helpful, especially if they keep missing the same letter over and over again. Excessive use of sending double call signs, etc., can just slow things down. On phone, good operators can add a cadence and pitch to their voice. This can clarify the exchange, make different parts of the exchange emphasized, and can enhance the ability of the other station to copy it. Sometimes we'll do this also with little tricks. So if they can't get my number correct, I might go 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they get that 8. Don't start out with those things, but if you get stuck and they can't get your number right, and 8, by the way, is the hardest number for anyone to get right, as you'll see on this chart coming up I have a little bit later. On CW, proper spacing is very important. There's nothing like having people run all the characters together and you have no idea what they're sending. If the station is not successful getting your exchange after multiple tries, they may send later, which means try later, not 5 seconds. Wait a little while. Nil means not in the log. No contact was made, so don't log them. Sorry means they're not going to be able to copy you. They just start calling CQ or QRZ without acknowledging you. That means you're probably not in the log. Don't log them. Make a note of the frequency and try later when band conditions might have changed or they're not as busy. Occasionally, a station may respond differently. I mentioned the B4 before, but sometimes you might hear a QSY, and they say, can you QSY to? What they want you to do is change to another band or another frequency, and this is quite often the case in VHF, UHF contests, and although it does happen sometimes in HF contests, it's very common in VHF contests. So I might work someone on 6 meters, and they might say, what other bands do you have? And I tell them, and then they say, okay, let's QSY to 2 meters at 144.12, and I would then change to that. It's a good idea when they tell you that to respond back and say QSYing 2 and give the frequency again. That way they know you copied it. You might also occasionally get a compliment or a question. It's a contest. You don't need to go super fast, but you don't want to take a long time. So a quick thank you or 73 is always nice. Don't just ignore them. Dancing the dance involves listening to the caller's instructions, listening to the stations that they're answering, and then mimicking the successful station. So first of all, listen to what the station calling for is asking for. If they're asking for a specific area of the world and you're not there, don't answer. If they're asking for a specific call sign area and you're not there, don't answer. If they're asking for a specific type of station and you're not that specific type, don't answer. If they ask for an ATNO, that means all-time new ones. That means you've never worked that country before on any band or any mode. ATNO means an all-time new country. And they do this quite often to give the little operators a chance, even though the big operator might be looking for his 7th band or his 3rd mode on that band. They want them to stand by and let the people get their first chance. And if it's contest participants, make sure you meet the qualifications of the contest. If it's only a contest working European stations and you're not in Europe, you can't answer. But if it's a contest that you qualify to operate in, then go ahead and by all means answer. Now, the next thing is, where are they listening? When they call, sometimes they'll say up 1, up 5, down 2. Most of the time it's up, or they might just say up. If they don't give a number, assume on CW that they mean up 1, and on phone they mean up 5. But typically they'll give you a number or a range. So they might say, CQ, this is Kilo 8 Zulu Tango, up 5 to 10. So where do you answer them? Not on their frequency. You need to answer between 5 and 10 megahertz up. How do you pick out where you want to answer in that group? Listen and see where the stations are that they're working. Other times the station may be operating simplex. That means that they're answering on the same frequency they're calling on. In rare occasion, they might be asking you to call on a different band. This is pretty much only the case with the military amateur radio activity in May of each year, where the military calls on their frequencies and we listen to them on their frequencies, and we respond on the amateur bands and they listen there. Know your radio. Know how to zero beat. Zero beat means that you're going to line up your transmission with your receive signal, and you're going to make that be the exact place that the other person's transmitting. Know how to work split with your radio. Know how to reverse split so you can listen on both the transmitting frequency and the listening frequencies. For small differences in frequency, not for up or down type of things, use your RIT, which stands for receiver receive intermittent tuning, or XRIT, which means transmitter receiving. Yaesu calls them clarifiers. They don't call them RITs or XRITs on some of their older radios. Use memories. Memories can let you quickly change bands. So if you're operating a VHF, UHF contest, have some of those frequencies that you know people are going to ask you to QSY to, and then you can simply hit a few buttons and be ready to work the station. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes stations are not working split, but they're not responding to stations that are calling directly on them. They might be listening just a touch higher, a touch lower. So make sure you find out who they're working, and then if they're working slightly off frequency, then you need to call slightly off frequency also. If you're having a problem getting through, try a couple things. Try the same speed as the stations whose replies are being answered, because that's who they're answering. Try the same frequency of the stations that's being answered, or try slightly varying your speed or frequency so you stand out from the crowd. Try pausing slightly before you're responding. Try responding immediately. So you need to try a couple tricks there to hopefully get through. Now, you've read all the rules, you understand what the exchange should be, and then they send something to you that you have no idea what it is. Well, I call that the secret language of the exchange, and it really isn't that secret. And let's explain what that is. There's three things that can happen. One is they're not sending things in the accepted order, and we already talked about that, so that's covered. The second thing, though, is on CW, they might be sending cut numbers. Cut numbers are abbreviations. So, for example, N is used to abbreviate 9 to save characters. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And then the third type is what I refer to as unintentional cut numbers. That's basically sloppy CW, where they didn't mean to send something. They meant to send you a number, but they're not really sending you a number. So here's the most common cut number out there for contesting. We always send a 599 on CW, but people don't do that. They send a 5NN. They save a number of characters. Instead of sending da 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 dit, they send da dit. So it shortens it up considerably. Now, there are cut numbers for everything out there. Only 8 out of 10 are used sometimes, and really 3 of them are mainly the commonly used ones. So they take this 599 and make it into 5NN. Quite often they will convert a 0 into a T. So instead of 5 dashes, they're sending 1 dash. We already talked about 9. There's also some other ones. Sometimes they'll do an A for a 1. This is most often used in serial numbers or other numbers like that. You don't want to do it in your call sign. Please don't. If you have a 1 in your call sign, don't use cut numbers inside of your call sign. So ATT might be used for 100, but K would be used for 1,000. And now what's happened, instead of sending 5NN, a lot of operators are now sending ENN. So instead of sending 5 dits, they're sending 1 dit. So know what cut numbers are, then decide whether you want to use them or not. But please don't do the next one, and that's unintentional cut numbers. A 5 is 5 dits. What happens if I hear 4 dits when I'm expecting a number? Well, maybe their amplifier didn't switch over quick enough, and I only got the last 4 dits of a 5, or maybe they cut off their signal at the end, so I only got the first 4 dits. But what happens if this was actually a 1 or a 6, and the character I missed was one of those? So if I hear an H, I'm going to guess it's probably a 5, but that may not be correct. It might be a 6 or a 1. I don't know what they cut off. So please try and avoid this. If I hear a 2, if I hear J, it's quite often a 2 where they dropped off one of the dits. So just be aware that, one of the DAWs, be aware that sometimes this can happen and try and avoid it. Make sure that people can hear your CW. So far, we've been talking about answering CQs, but sometimes that's called searching and pouncing. Sometimes we want to make use of those by calling CQ, which is also referred often to as running. Most hams new to contesting or CW tend to do search and pounce because it's much easier to handle than the difficulty of handling multiple people coming back to you at the same time. When you call CQ, maybe 5 stations will come back to you. Once you get used to it, though, you can handle those things. So you might be able to call CQ in a non-contesting situation, but most of the time, if you're just starting out in contesting or just starting out with CW, you might want to think about search and pounce because you can be very effective that way. If you're calling CQ using use a sending speed that you'll be comfortable at receiving. If the station comes back to you a little fast on CW, if you send QRS, that means please slow down. And if they're still going too fast, send QRS again and they will probably slow down. Some etiquette: before you call CW, whether it's on phone or CW, either use a QRL on CW and then your call sign, or ask is the frequency in use and then your call sign. Remember to add your call sign. I suggest you do it twice to make sure, and pause and long enough to make sure that you can hear someone. Also, in contesting, most stations when they're contesting drop the DE out of their call sign. So you'll hear CQ, CQ, K8ZT. You won't hear the DE. Casual operators quite often include the DE, but most contesters and DXers do not. Oh, by the way, always send your call at least as many times as you send CQ. Don't send CQ 12 times in your call once. It's better to send 2 CQs and 2 call signs than 12 CQs and 1 call sign. When answering a CQ, only answer if they're calling something that matches you, as we talked earlier. If they say they want the ZT station to come back and your call doesn't have a ZT in it, don't answer. They're trying to call me. If he sends a call sign that is extremely close to yours and you hear no one else, then go back with your call sign, because maybe they just messed it up a little bit. But just because I hear a Z doesn't mean I'm allowed to answer all the time, because I listen to see whether someone's answering him. But if no one's answering him, maybe he was trying to get a hold of me. Give your full call sign unless they're only requesting the last 2 characters or the suffix. This is typically used in some nets and is not the general way you want to make answer CQs. So what type of QSOs are there? There's the quick 599 exchange for DX stations, rare stations, contesting. Contesting with also adds an exchange, POD adds an exchange, but these are all quick contacts. There's also net check-ins where there's a very specific procedure you need to follow for the net that you're checking into. See how people do it and then mimic what they're doing. A short chat, a long QSO, a full rag chew, all these require you to act a little bit different. So adjust your contact to that. If you're just getting started out in CW, having scripts can be very helpful, because you can look down at the paper when you forget what you want to say. It even works on phone. Have scripts with your information on it. And actually, I have a script right on my desk here, and you can click on this link. It'll make a copy, and you can change it for your information, so that when you are making a contact and someone says, "What's your grid square?" you can just look on the sheet. You don't have to think about it. You can even put down your name if you forget that when you get excited about working someone on the air. If you're just getting started on HF, the tips I told you tonight will help a lot, but there's a lot of other things to know. And Dennis Kidder and I put together a 4 weeks. There's actually a 4th week now of this available. There's a slideshow, and then there's 4 video recordings, 1 hour long, put together by Dennis Kidder, W6DQ, and I for the Rat Pack group. We also have a similar one for VHF and UHF. I also have a presentation on operating 10-meter phone band. If you're a technician, this is the only place you can operate phone on HF. I have another one on successful operating tools for assessing performance, which I'm going to be giving this weekend for the QSO Today Expo, if you want to stop into that. And top secrets for worked all states in DX. You can go to any of these. And again, this is the link to the slideshow presentation, tiny.cc/r/r-d. I have a few minutes for questions, and then I have to run up to my 9 o'clock presentation, but I do have a few minutes. So any questions, comments, suggestions? Again, if someone will jot this down and make sure you put it in the newsletter for everyone to get, tiny.cc/r-r-d. You can also contact me at my email address or go to my website, or if you want a link of all my presentations, tiny.cc/K8ZT-P.
1, 2, there I am. Anthony? Did I get
Yes.
that? I was a little slow in following. You mentioned links. This is something that I can go to on my computer.
Right here, tiny.cc/r-r-d.
And so that will show me earlier in the presentation where you
It'll give you the whole slideshow.
Okay, that's what I was curious about. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments, suggestions?
Can you leave that up for
complaints?
just a second? I'm gonna
Absolutely.
screenshot it so I can put it in the newsletter.
And this is one of my few that I don't have a QR code on. What I've been doing now is I've been adding a QR code so people can just shoot the QR code and go to the shortcut.
Got it.
So I will make sure I add that to this show after this.
Any other
I
questions?
only do a few presentations a year, so I don't get around to doing that. I think I passed 400 already.
Any other questions? Doesn't look like it.
Well, thank you very much. If you'd like another hour of me, I'm doing the Rat Pack next. I'm going to be doing a session on youth and amateur radio. And if you really want to hang around at 10 p.m. Eastern time, I'll be doing the Palomar Radio Club out in California tonight.
Wow. This is a Zoom night for you.
Well, and I did the Denby Dell group at 2:30 this afternoon in the UK.
Anthony, are you coming to Hamcation next year?
I'm hoping to. I don't know for sure.
Okay. Make sure you let us know so we can meet you and greet you. And
yeah, I was
think
there
I might have
too.
saw you passing at Hamvention, but I'm not. There's a lot of people there.
I was at Hamvention, and I was at Hamcation the last time I went to Hamcation. It caused a little problem. I think it was called the pandemic. After I left, I came back to Ohio, and nothing was ever the same for a whole couple of years.
All right. We hope to see you in February.
Okay. Well, 73, everyone.
Thanks.
Hope to work you on the air.
All right. Before we go into drawings and wrap it up for this evening, first and foremost, I have to ask this question. How was the acoustics tonight? Everybody was able to hear? No air conditioner ringing in your ears? Okay. It's like being back at home again, that's for sure. I'm going to call out some call signs really quick and names if I can pronounce them. If you are here, please come up and pick up your membership card. If you know the individual, then please sit there and come by here and pick up their card for them and hand it to them. Some of these have been around for a while, and we're just trying to get them out as many as possible. While Michael's doing that, William Blackstone. Anybody know William Blackstone, Kilo Quebec 4, Delta Quebec Mike? Nope. How about Robert Brooks, Alpha Bravo 1, Romeo Bravo? All right, moving along. Alexander Veselev, Kilo Quebec 4, Delta Quebec Papa. Brian Tavares, Kilo November 4, Z X-Ray Mike. Miguel Rocco, Kilo Oscar 4, Tango Victor Papa. Evan Anderson, Kilo Quebec 4, Hotel Alpha Delta. George or Jorge Rodriguez in Kissimmee. Rodriguez Arias. Whiskey 4, Charlie Oscar Edward. Michael Cardona, Kilo Oscar 4, Victor Tango Hotel. Stephen Curtis, Kilo Mike 4, Uniform Mike Golf. Tristan Danager, Kilo Quebec 4, Delta Quebec November. Brian David, Kilo Quebec 4, Delta Quebec Juliet. Ryan Dobkin, Kilo Quebec 4, Frank India Yankee. Michael Flannery, Whiskey November 2, Quebec. Travis Green, Kilo Quebec 4, Foxtrot Juliet Lima. Then we have Ana Guerrero, Kilo Quebec 4, Delta Romeo Charlie.
Is that your sister?
Jonathan Haig, Kilo Quebec 4, Delta Quebec Oscar. Gary Holman, Kilo Quebec 4, Hotel Alpha Oscar. And Brandon Kiley, Kilo Quebec 4, Foxtrot Yankee India, FYI. That's a perfect one.
And if you don't have a membership card, go see Rick back there because he probably has it for you.
There's a bunch of membership cards right. We're trying to get them distributed out to everybody. But if you know any of those individuals, or if you are here, please come up and get your thing. All right, real quick. I promised I would do this. Beardall just want me to let everybody know that they'll be hosting National Night Out this year on October 3rd at this facility. They'll be having crime awareness in our about this area. And they'll have some folks demonstrating dance classes, fire department safety classes, and several other things. So they'd love to have you here if you are willing to come. All right, going into the drawings.
All right, first up. First ticket number. The last three, 0, 2, 6. 0, 2, 6. 0, 2, 6.
Last three numbers, 0, 2, 6.
Going once. Going twice. That was for the ICOM 705. Sorry. There's actually no HRO just got some in stock and they're probably sold out by now. So, all right, last three, 0, 3, 4. Huh? 0, 3, 4. Thrace.
0, 3, 4. Okay. You got hamcation tickets. The you don't need a hamcation ticket? Why not? Don't you need hamcation tickets? The hotspot or HRO? Okay. So write your call sign, your name, and your email address, please. So I make sure I don't mess anything up.
All right, next up, next ticket. Zero, 2, 4.
Angel.
Oh, it says 0, 1, 4.
Hotspot tickets or HRO gift card. Oh, take this one too. Steve is right there. Steve, you want to raise your hand? He's the one that built it. If you have questions, that's Steve right there.
All right. So we got 2 hamcation tickets and we still got one more HRO gift certificate.
Thank you.
Oh, this is a good one. 0, 0, 1. Oh, does he? 0, 0, 1. Okay.
HRO ticket.
HRO. HRO. All right. Last up. 2 tickets to hamcation. Just remember, this gets you 2 extra prize drawing tickets too, even if you volunteer. Ooh, we went higher. 0, 6, 1.
Gives you extra prize chances.
Sell them to your husband.
Charge them double. All right. I lost my piece of paper already. Anyways, next month's meeting. There it is. It's blending in with all the other stuff up here. All right. So obviously, we'll be back in this room next month. Okay. Wednesday, October the 4th at 7:30 here at Beardall. Your guest speaker will be Kevin Jackson, Alpha 3 Victor X-ray. Measurements of antennas and antenna patterns will be the presentation. Okay. So it'd be a good thing to learn everything about antennas. Okay. Just real quick, again, membership cards, if you need them or whatever, see Rick. If you don't do it this month, be here next month. Rick will make sure he has your card. If you've renewed your membership recently, we'll have your card for you if you haven't picked it up. And then please make sure that you remember Christmas party tickets. And also hamcation definitely needs volunteers. Okay. Even if you can't be on the committee, you want to help out, please go to the website and sign up. It's all open, ready to do it. Last but not least, Christy is still collecting bottle caps or bottle tabs, if you will, the canned pull tabs. All right. So if you have them, bring them next month. And we'll collect them. If Christy is not here, we'll make sure she gets them and stuff, but that's helping her out with some medical issues. Okay. I appreciate very much everybody's help on that. Thank you. Welcome back home. See you next month.